Hi, guys. All right, Cancerians. Happy year of the fire horse. So, we just got started on the fire horse on the 17th. And so, we are just barely in this new exciting energy. So, with that in mind, this could be a much more like progressive year, lots of things happening faster. There could be a lot more just like higher energy as a whole. And could be a year where we don't waste too much time. Everything's about forward progress. So let's just ask, what is the big ticket item for the year of the fire horse? Ace of Swords, Two of Cups, the Lover sideways. Okay, so I was expecting to ask about love separately, but I think Cancer and one other zodiac. So I did most of the zodiacs yesterday. I couldn't get to everybody. I just didn't have enough lung capacity to do it. So I still have like four more zodiacs, but I can't remember. It was somebody yesterday toward the latter half of the day. So maybe like Aquarius or Pisces, maybe it was Capricorn, where it kind of started out the same way, where like the major thing for the year of the fire horse is actually love. It's like that's a major topic. But it's in this case, it's like I close a door and really sever a connection with somebody that I don't choose because I'm realizing I need to choose somebody else. So this could be all about personal choice. It is definitely about like recognizing what relationships have come to close and what relationships must be pursued and expanded upon. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be that it's like, oh, I'm breaking up with this person because I like that other person better. It doesn't have to be that. It could be Cancer is realizing that, they're going to end a connection or even have already ended one and you're the snake. And now they're realizing like, that really was, I don't have any second guesses about it. That was correct. I was supposed to end that because otherwise I wouldn't be free to meet this new person. We could have a Gemini. Now, Gemini is going to be the first zodiac that I do after this when I bounce over to the other channel to finish up with those last four zodiacs. So I don't know, Cancers, if you're going to want to watch the Gemini video, but hi, everybody. So great to see you all. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for being here. Using my intuition, feeling my soul. See Nelly Run, Kala, London 72. You guys, thank you. It is wonderful to see you. So we've got this Eight of Pentacles. It is definitely about working on or working through the thought processes of who truly suits me. And this is nice because it puts Cancer in the driver's seat. When, an Eight of Pentacles is like a personal completion or getting very close to completing a personal cycle. And we can see, Cancer has a lot of like memories, a lot of snapshots, a lot of photography on their wall. And it's like, my life has been very rich and I have learned something and I've cultivated more and more who I am. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Nora A. You are so generous. Thank you, honey. I will let my mommy know. I will do something extra special for her in honor of you. That is the most incredible and sweet thing ever. Thank you sincerely, honey. With that Eight of Pentacles, the work that Cancer has done on, developing their own thoughts, their own mind, their own sense of awareness of what they would really love to have in a partnership, what kind of person really resonates nicely with their soul, and equally as important, what kind of person you can say they're a great person, I love them, but I'm not in love with them and we're actually not right together. It's so important to be able to articulate that because otherwise, Cancer could have found themselves in a relationship with someone where they stayed out of like, well, they're such a nice person, I shouldn't move on, but we're not in love, but they're a very wonderful person. Sadly, that might not be enough of a reason to stay. Great person, wonderful person, not my person though. And I know that sounds really callous, but I look at it like this, and I'll only say it from my own personal perspective, which is I have definitely been the person that was not chosen by somebody. I have been the person that has been rejected. And indeed, they told me that I was great, but I wasn't their person. They didn't choose me, no matter, oh, they adored me. They didn't want me as their person. Now, that's honestly terrific You respected me enough not to waste my time. That means I can actually be completely content as we part ways because I know I wasn't your person and you liked me enough sincerely and respected me enough sincerely to let me go. I don't want to be kept by somebody that doesn't want me. I would much rather have been able to move on. And so, sure enough, honestly, that to me was like a real sign of respect. And that person, he allowed me to move on with my life. And I have no hard feelings. And it didn't feel insulting either. It felt like I took it as a sign of respect. Like, you actually like me enough to not, like, I'm not somebody who wants any kind of pity. And I know we're not everybody's cup of tea, or your heart's not going to fall for people necessarily, just even if you think they're nice. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that they're going to want you. And so I think that's all fair. And I appreciated that. And it allowed me to move on and have a really good life. Whereas if somebody had wasted my time, I'd have been pissed. Like, if I find out 10 years later that you really didn't want to stick around, oh, I'd be pissed. So I have to just say this. I don't think it's rude. I think it's necessary. That kind of honesty is so necessary because it allows us to move along with our life. And on a planet with so many different people, the one that we match the best with and the one that our heart really feels connected to. So I'm going to say Cancer, although it can feel uncomfortable to have to be the person to tell somebody, look, I'm not into you. We're not a good match because my heart's not in this. On the other hand, I think it's the most respectful thing to actually show you are a wonderful person. That's why I know I can't take up your good time if I think I'm supposed to be with someone else. I think Cancer had to come to that conclusion. I think that they both feel empowered now. And although that could be an uncomfortable thing, I think Cancer had to let somebody go. And they did it, and it's turning out really, really well. Or this is what the energy is, moving forward. It's like, if you person, why eat up their time? Let them be loved by somebody else, someone who can give them the thing that you can't. And I think Cancer had to do that for somebody. And instead of feeling guilty about it, I think it was a huge sign of respect. Now, again, maybe that's just because that's how I prefer to be handled, but I genuinely believe that. And I think, these are fictional stories, but I also think that that's a valid point in life. So, what does that mean for this new Two of Cups? SLH, you sweetheart. Thank you so much. Oh my God. SLH, you are so adorable. Thank you for being here, honey. I am so incredibly touched and heartwarmed. Thank you, love. Bring to the light 888. Huracan, NES. Thank you, everybody. Kintsugi Warrior, thank you again. Okay, so for this new Two of Cups energy that seems like in the year of the Fire Horse, it seems like Cancer is going to be building something slowly, seeing how things balance out. The Two of Swords normally would be a card of like blocking, but in this case, it's more a card of like weighing. And I do still think getting rid of a measure of guilt. If Cancer was still feeling guilty that they let go of somebody else, there is something here because, is my heart as light as a feather? Can I move forward in this new relationship? And even here, we have her kind of like drawing back, like, I probably shouldn't move forward too quickly with somebody new because that could look disrespectful if I, dumped somebody else from the past or, had to end some other connection. I don't want to make it look like I jumped, from one relationship right into the next or monkey branched my way into the next relationship. I think Cancer might want to slow the journey of this new relationship as it starts to evolve. Judgment, though, and this card, normally this would be a card of reconciling. So maybe this Two of Cups is going to turn out to be somebody from a long, long, long time ago in Cancer's past history. Maybe this is going to be like, oh, that old colleague that, I had a crush on, but didn't date, and now I'm going to go ahead and date them, but I just broke up with somebody, and I need more time. The only thing is, this speaks of an alignment and a mysterious alignment at that, because we're seeing Stonehenge. So there's this wonderful sense of like mysticism and, like, how was Stonehenge built? What was it built for? And there's a lot of different opinions on it. And, timelines are dated further back than what they thought. And they said originally they thought the Druids built it. And then I've since read they said, no, it actually predates the Druids, but the Druids used it. I've read that, there's like concentric circles. And if you are standing like more in the inner circle, like the acoustics are incredible. And some people say it was a portal, and some people say it was for rituals, and some say it was for spiritual practice. But we do know it was built in connection with the alignment of the sun. And specifically for like the equinoxes, I don't know, there's just a lot that we could say it's mysterious, but there's a purpose for all of this. And so even though it looks like Cancer is going to try to slow walk building this relationship, I don't know that they can slow walk it too much, because there is something really special and really aligned. It kind of hints that maybe Cancer is connecting to the person that they're supposed to be with. We have a 3 of Wands. Okay, there still doesn't have to be a rush, is what the universe keeps saying. Take the time that you need to take. The future is coming with every next breath. Life will continue to evolve. It just says not to shy away, Cancer, from your own happiness and something that feels like magically right for Cancer, out of some misplaced sense of like, oh, but I have to let so much time elapse before I can be seen dating another person. Because to a certain extent, look, and again, I'm going to sound kind of rude or kind of callous, but I don't think, again, this is just me speaking from my own personal perspective, but if somebody doesn't want to be with me and they move on, I would expect them to go get with somebody else that they want to be with. I don't own them. They are not mine. And if there's somebody else you belong with, why, just because you broke up with me, why do you have to wait a certain amount of time before you're allowed to honor how your heart feels more strongly about somebody else? I would be like, go get it. Like, you got to do what you got to do. It's your life. You don't need a misplaced sense of responsibility to me. We met, we tried, it didn't work, move on, and don't waste any daylight hours on my account. But I kind of think everybody should be living as best they can. I think handle each other with honor and respect, but then also get back to the art of living, because our time is precious. That's just my opinion. So I think somewhere in this, Cancer is battling with themselves, like how swiftly or how slowly should I ease into this connection, especially when that feels like it's so right. Cancer might try to slow it, but I think it's going to speed back up, because we only got a halfway's pace with that 3 of Wands. It's not too far down in the future. I think Cancer's like coming around to, we still have the 8 of Pentacles though. I gotta let myself work through my thought processes on this. So look, Cancer has to feel comfortable, and absolutely, I'm not trying to force our character. I'm just advocating for, like, Cancer, it is your life. You're allowed to feel however you feel about whomever you feel that way about. And, may you always choose the path that's right for you. Cancer's like, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm taking my time. That's why I'm working through the feels and the thoughts. So I'm going to say Cancer is again in the driver's seat this year. They will determine what pace to build this new relationship at. Can we see anything about who that 2 of Cups person is? The Sun, somebody who might make Cancer really, really, really happy. They could be a Leo. They could be somebody that is really funny. Also, they could have a kind of like a hilarious, like one-liners and kind of an innocent, goofy, fun way. I mean, smart, but also there's something kind of innocent and just delightful about them. They could be somebody that is very, very open about showing that they really like Cancer. You see him kind of like leaning forward a little bit, like he's obviously showing his interest and excitement about meeting Cancer. So, or getting a chance with Cancer. With that Ace of Swords sideways, I can tell they're a little confused. Does Cancer like me? I think that they do, but they're not really telling me with the same enthusiasm that I'm telling them, because I don't see this person holding back much of anything. And I think that we have the Magician upright, we have the Hanged Man. They might be starting to wonder, am I coming on too strong? Or maybe is it just that Cancer is a much more like chill, relaxed, like meditative person? Okay, maybe I'll try to match their energy. So it's kind of sweet because they are very attuned to Cancer. They pick up on the vibe Cancer's putting out, which might be like, I just kind of want to take it a little slower. And they're wondering, like, maybe I am pushing too fast. So let me adapt to Cancer's more relaxed pace. I'll do meditation with you. We can spend time in a even just like a non-romantic way building a relationship, even if obviously it feels like they really, really, really want the full-blown romance and relationship. But this could be so good, really. The fact that they're so on board with this, look, I just like Cancer. I want to be around Cancer. So let me enjoy their energy in whatever capacity, even if it's purely platonic at first. All right. So I'll hang out and do platonic things. I want to be friends with Cancer as much as I want to be lovers. So sure. In fact, this could calm them a little bit. This could make it so that they don't feel quite as much pressure. They're really letting Cancer lead. And although it's a little bit confusing, they're saying, but let me enjoy this instead. Um, that's actually really nice. And we have Queen of Wands, but they're like, but Cancer's so hot. And I really want to be Cancer's person. And it's a very likable character because they're hot-blooded for sure. They really want a relationship, but this is changing the tempo. Maybe they haven't ever like built such a strong comfort zone and foundation before getting to the spicy stuff. And that could be something that is going to be new for them. Honestly, this could be why this relationship is going to end up really, really successful, is because although there's hot passion and a two of cups and like this very ethereal connection and this mystical, incredible vibe, at the same time, we're going to build the foundation first. We're not going to jump into the passion or the mystical. We're going to build it first as friends. That could be wonderful, honestly. All right, is there anything else coming in for the year of the fire horse to give special attention to? Two of Wands. It's about, choosing the correct direction, the direction that Cancer really wants to go. Focus on it, go that way. We have the awakening, again, that judgment card. And there is something, again, about letting things go that aren't right for us and choosing the right direction. Okay, so this is the theme. We saw it first in love, and now we see it in the general realm. It kind of feels like this is the year of Cancer. This is the year that Cancer is in charge of what they do, and they don't have to feel guilty about choosing paths that are right for them. So Cancer could be letting go of, hey, I don't want to work those extra hours at work anymore. I'm going to go ahead and tell my boss, no, I don't want that anymore. I want to do this other thing. Cancer could quit working a side hustle and pour all their energy into something else. Cancer could back out of things that don't feel right for them. Let things go, let people go. Cancer could let go of, an overly expensive vehicle that they don't want to keep paying all that money on, trade it in for something more economical. They could decide not to hold on to a certain lifestyle because they want to be more free. They could see them downsizing, simplifying, getting things to where it's like all my energy goes to what I truly want. And I have no problem releasing. That is very masterful because it's very hard to let go of things, especially things that we already had. It's sometimes by nature, humans are like, oh God, but if I let go of this, then what? If I let go of those extra hours at work, will I have enough money? If I let go of that fancy house or, all of those things, will I feel like I am somehow going backwards in life? If I stop holding my position, of authority in the workplace and I really don't want to be the boss anymore, will I feel like I'm losing my power? This Cancer is like, that's not where my power comes from. My power comes from me doing what's authentic for me, not having these ideas of I've got to drive a fancier car for status, or I have to be, this or that in the workplace so that I can, feel important. Like I already know I'm important. I'm a human. So therefore I have value. It just feels like this is such a great Cancer. And this year, I think their life is going to get really authentic, really simplified. And I think it's going to be a lot more satisfying year. Let me go ahead and get one other card here because I did this for every other zodiac. Let's get one of our gemstones. Is in case there is like a gem or a mineral or something that is important this year, obsidian. So it says, to the well organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. So it is a year of change, but don't forget, obsidian has been used throughout mankind's history. There's like this big quarry of obsidian, oh God, I think it's like 11,000 years back is when they started to find that humans that long ago, this is in North America, they started to find like that it had been like the obsidian quarry for like many humans that would make, anything from like arrowheads to sometimes they're used as like looking glass and all kinds of things because it's like volcanic glass basically. And so it's highly reflective and, black, but it was used by ancient humans and taken, all over the place. As far back as like 11,000 years ago. So I think it's right outside of like Yellowstone. It's like this huge, like miles wide stretch of this volcanic glass that hardened into obsidian. And so I'm just mentioning that only because this is so useful. The color black is about protection. Like I said, obsidian can be used for anything from weapons to tools to like mirrors for scrying, and it has a very, very ancient origin. So if anything, maybe some of those components make sense to Cancer in this year as they're making decisions and they're kind of trailblazing and they're going, they're using things for their tools to help them move forward. But yeah, they may be drawn to things like obsidian in this year. All right, you guys, really great to see everyone. Sending you guys lots of love. So nice to catch you. Nora A, thank you again. Yes, and for protection in some cultures. Yes, spot on. Using my intuition, thank you for being here. Squish Fish, thank you guys so much. Squish Fish, I could be a little bit off kilter in my memory, but that's what I recall. And that actually, I read about that in one of my decks, one of the I don't know. I don't think it's called Earth Magic. It's something along those lines. So I'm looking around to see if I have that deck handy because then I could fact check myself while I'm live. Wrong one. I think it's like Earth Power, Earth Magic, something like that. Anyway, all right, you guys, take care. I send you lots of love. I'm going to bounce over to the other side. I've got to watch my time a little bit because I got to get out of here pretty soon to go see my mommy. But I'm going to get to those other 4 zodiacs now over on Kate's Regretless Life. All right, you guys, such a delight using my intuition. Thank you for being here, babe. Always good to hang out with you. All right, you guys, lots of love. Thank you, Cancerians, for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.